How to beat 1960s Pennywise in It Welcome to Derry. Gosh, Daisy. I don't even want to get into how insane Welcome to Derry was as a show. Amazing. But let me know right now, do you think you could beat Pennywise? Me personally, a part of me is like, yeah, for sure. And a part of me is like, hell no. No, not even a chance. Because all he has to do is tap into your deepest, darkest fears, desires, and trauma. Big P gonna send a big booty Latina my way and ruin my life. Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. But if you want to pull up to the live streams, make sure you scan the QR code or use the link in the description. Pull up, let's vibe.
Shields, you know what time it is. Our boy Pennywise, the demon clown, is finally back. And this time he's going on the craziest rampage of his whole career. I'm talking main characters just getting absolutely wrecked in the first episode.
Dude,
and some of the wildest.
The way Pennywise was moving in Welcome to Derry, yo, I'm not gonna lie, but he was moving crazier than he was moving in the movies.
Disturbing situation these kids could possibly imagine. So if you were trapped in a town where every 27 years a shape-shifting clown came out of the sewers and started looking for a kid's meal, what would you do? Well, don't you worry, because I'm here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat peak Pennywise in It Welcome to Derry.
Nasty. How to beat. Honestly, all you have to do is not be scared. That's true. But again, he's going to tap into all your deepest, darkest fears. And he said this is peak Pennywise. But I honestly believe these next 2 seasons of Welcome to Derry are going to be 10 times scarier. Because we don't need to go into the back lore. Every episode can just be straight scary. And then also, they can kill off anyone at any time. The way Pennywise was moving in episode 1, I want to see that like every three episodes. Just like a whole new cast of kids just gets killed off. I don't want to see that, but like, you know, I want to see some stakes. Show me what you're really about, Pennywise.
We start off one average night at a movie theater where we find this kid Maddie just going to town on a pacifier.
All right, before we get back into the internet being the internet, let me put y'all on real quick. Free cash. If you already spend your time playing games on your phone, you might as well get paid for it. Just hit the link in my description or scan the QR code that's on the screen right now. Sign up for free with your email and password and pick from a bunch of games and offers inside the app. Play, you complete tasks, you earn money that goes straight into your free cash account. And I cannot stress this enough how simple it is. Some people make $10 to $20 a day, and there are bigger offers available if you really go after it. Plus, you don't even need to spend money to get started. And when you're ready to cash out, you can use PayPal or gift cards. So please stop scrolling for free. Hit the link in my description or scan the QR code, sign up for free. And the best part about it, if you use my link, you get a $5 bonus just to get started. Now let's get back into this video.
Like, isn't he a little too old for that? But he ends up getting busted by security and has to make a break for it. So he dips out of there and decides that he's leaving town, but that turns out to be his biggest mistake. He's just passing the welcome sign when a family in a pink car pulls over to give him a ride, and when they ask him where he's going, he just says that he wants to get out of Derry.
So get me out of here.
As they're driving along, he notices that these people are kinda weird. And that's when he realizes that they're actually taking him back into town. Worried, he starts asking to get out, but the dad just turns up the radio as they all keep trolling him.
Turn up the music,
until he finally gets so scared that he reaches for the wheel. But when the dad pushes him away, he accidentally hits the mom in her belly, and that's when gets real. All of a sudden, they start chanting O-U-T as she starts gasping in pain. And then, out of nowhere, she ends up having some kind of freaky-ass demon baby right there in the whip.
This is the craziest start to any show. Like, I don't know how much money you would have to pay me to like put like a parlay up to see like, okay, how would the show start? I would lose all my money. If you have Netflix, you're dumb. Instead, you can join my Patreon where we watch the same movies, TV shows, and even anime live with me and the community. All for less money than your Netflix subscription. Don't get scammed by Netflix. Scan the QR code on screen and join the lawbreakers. Because I would never guess this.
Creature starts flying all around the car until it finally locks in on poor little Maddie. And suddenly it just lunges straight at him as they're crossing over a bridge. So yeah, it looks like Pennywise is back. Alright, well, I know the people in this town are weird, but damn. Now, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it when I say this, but my boy Matty was cooked as soon as he woke up this morning, and here is why. The most important thing you gotta know about Pennywise is that he feeds on your fear. So the more afraid of him you are, the more powerful he gets. Now, as you can see, Maddie here was still using a pacifier at 12 years old, even though most kids stopped using them way earlier than that. But this tells us that he probably had a lot of anxiety and fear just in his regular life. So that made him a prime target for the Clizown. And
the only way to calm him down is to suck on a pacifier. Like, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand on that. I could really do, because like, if me personally, like, if I'm really stressed out, give me a big old titty to suck on. I'm smooth. I'm gonna be nice and chill, calm, relaxed, petite.
You know what the worst part is? All he had to do was keep walking just a little bit further and he would have been good. Because Pennywise can't leave Derry for a bunch of reasons that we'll get into later, but the second he got in that car, he was cooked.
Cookies.
Extra crispy. Now, you probably should have noticed this family was sus right off the bat, because there's no such thing as helpful, friendly adults in Derry. But as soon as they started refusing to let him out, I would have just rolled down the window and jumped out easy peasy.
In history.
But even once that little demon baby showed up, I've still got a plan, because you see, another thing you gotta know about Pennywise is that he basically works on like the Santa Claus principle, so he can be hurt with regular weapons as long as you genuinely believe that it's gonna work. So the first thing I'm doing here is taking off my jacket and wrapping the—
Ew! Wait, the fact that, bro, I'm just believe that I'm gonna flick him in the nose and that's gonna kill him. If that's all it takes. If all it takes is belief power, say no more. Got a whole lot of that.
This little freak up like some kind of demonic burrito, and then I'm grabbing—
But that's what I'm saying. If all you have to do is believe, then I'm gonna believe that I'm really scared of a big booty Latina, and then Pennywise is gonna transform into a big booty Latina and, like, you know, scare me. Shit.
one of those ice skates or something out of the trunk and just go into town on that. And if the family tried to stop me, then I would just piece them up too. Then I'd wait for my chance to bail and get the hell out of Derry just like he planned. See? Piece of cake. But 4 months later, we catch up with this girl, Lily, who's still dealing with the trauma from losing her dad in a tragic pickle accident. She also low-key has a thing for Maddie. Like, damn, double whammy, am I right? But what's strange is that his body was never found. Well, one night while she's in the restroom, she hears Maddie's voice coming out of the pipes.
Pennywise!
And as she leans in for a closer look, a bloody
Pennywise, please don't get me in the lawbreakers. We're all scared of, like, really, really, really bad bitches. Like, we're so scared. Just don't come after us. Please, no.
finger suddenly reaches up from the drain. She
Damn.
tells her best friend Marge about it the next day at school, but you see, everyone in town already thinks that she's crazy. And Marge doesn't want to get lumped in just for hanging out with her. With no one else to turn to, she decides to pull up at this secret clubhouse where Maddie's friends, Phil and Teddy, hang out. But it all sounds way too crazy to actually be true. Well, later that night, Teddy's chilling in his room when the lamp keeps flickering on and off, until suddenly, the lampshade transforms into a bunch of screaming faces.
Ew.
But the vision disappears as soon as his brother walks in the room. Well, now at least Teddy actually believes what Lily said, and Phil is convinced as well because he knows the kid well enough to tell if he was lying. So now the question is, what are they gonna do?
Yo, Phil was pissing me off. Phil was the main conspiracy theorist in the whole group. He was talking about aliens probing buttholes, whole bunch of hoopla-boos. And when Lily comes in, it's like, hey, I you know, people are talking me through the sewers and the shit. He's like, that's not even, like, possible. Are you serious? I don't understand people like that. Like, how you gonna be open-minded on one thing and then super closed-minded on another? Like, yes, I might be skeptical, but I'm still gonna be like, okay, well, I'm intrigued. Let's pull a Scooby-Doo, let's search. Then probably get killed in the process, but you know.
They decide to start at the movie theater, which is the place where Maddie was last seen alive, which leads them to this girl, Ronnie Grogan, but she's pissed at them for asking around. Cause ever since that night, the cops have been trying to pin what happened on her dad, Hank, the projectionist. But just when they're about to leave, Phil mentions hearing voices in the sewers, and that gets Ronnie's attention because she's heard them as well. Meanwhile, we cut over to this dude, Major Hanlon, who's just started a new assignment at the local Air Force Base. He's lying in bed when 3 dudes in masks pull up and start whooping his ass. But his best friend Polly busts in and starts piecing these dudes up. He's able to fight them off thanks to his help. That night, the kids decide to watch the movie that was playing when their friend disappeared, hoping that it might show them a clue, and as the music starts, they're pretty shocked to see Maddie just standing there in the background. Somehow he can actually see them as well, and he starts blaming them all for what happened. But when he looks up, his face changes into that big goofy-ass smile, and you already know what that means. Suddenly, that freaky-ass demon baby comes straight through the screen and starts flying around the room, and the others all run for their lives as Lily just sits there completely dumbfounded. But as Teddy runs for the door, he gets absolutely wrecked right in front of everybody. and Lily hits the deck as it starts going after Phil next. Terrified, she tries reaching out to his sister Susie, but the demon ends up landing right on top of them. So yeah, that doesn't really work out. And by the time that Ronnie gets down from the projection booth, Lily is the only one.
Ronnie, what is that hammer gonna do? You saw the little boy get flung up into the balconies.
Left standing, but the monster is still out there, so their only choice is to dip while they still have the chance. Well, damn. I guess these kids forgot their plot armor back at the crib. It looks like Pennywise ain't playing around this time, but honestly, the plan was dog water right from the start. I mean, like Phil said, this dude Matty had been gone for 4 months. So I'm sorry, but there's no way in hell he crawled all the way through the pipes to Lily's bathroom right at the exact moment when she happened to be there. Plus, what happened to Teddy was pretty much straight out of The Conjuring. So that should have made it pretty clear that they were dealing with some kind of evil spirit and not just a missing kid. If they actually thought that Matty was trapped down in the sewers, then they should have been trying to map out the pipes like my guy Bill back in the first movie. But going
W Bill, man. Bills. W Bill. Can we get W Bills in the comments? Bill.
Back to the theater to watch The Music Man literally makes 0 sense. Now, after what just happened to Teddy, I'd be really going in there fully expecting some kind of demonic activity to go down. So as soon as this dude Matty showed up on the screen, hell no.
I'm running. I'm running. Like, when you tell me my long lost friend is on the movie screen, I've seen this movie before. You're not in it.
There before the stuff hits the fan. All right, let's say I stuck around long enough for this demon baby to show up. Well, just like before, I've got a plan. First off, this thing can fly, so it's got you beat if you try to run for the door. So what I'd do instead is drop down under the seats, just like Lily did here. Then I'd convince the fastest runner in the group to start heading for one exit while the rest of us go for the other one. And if we time it right, the runner can lure the baby all the way to the front of the theater, then dive under the seats, and then the rest of us can get up and run for the back door, luring the baby all the way to the other side. And the runner escapes out the front exit. GG, no rematch. Otherwise, I'd just have to use my friends as meat shields while I made a run for it, because now that this demon baby's all grown up, there's no way they're fighting it unless they were fully locked in. But
I'm sorry, you gotta be faster than me. The slowest one dying. Ciao, bitch.
Yeah, now I guess the only option is to move out of Derry and start going to therapy. Now, remember how the cops were already suspicious of Ronnie's dad? Yeah, well, after what happened at the theater, now they're set on trying to arrest him, but they can't prove that he's guilty, and he can't prove that he's innocent. So right now, they're just kind of waiting for him to slip up. One night, Ronnie is lying there feeling all upset when her bed randomly starts pumping like it.
This scene right here, some of the scariest, one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen because it's just like, how do you think of this? And I'm still upset that this was like the last episode where we got super scary scenes. Like, keep it coming. If Pennywise can conjure up anything in his wildest imagination, each episode should feel like a fever dream. That's what I need next season. If they don't do this next season, the show's falling off. I'm sorry. Yes, the lore was cool and everything, but you gotta come harder. The second episode shouldn't be the best episode. I mean, scare-wise.
It has a heartbeat, and when she tries getting out of the covers, they just keep going and turning into some kind of weird gooey skin. That's when the sack starts filling up with water as Ronnie struggles to get out. Until finally, she manages to push through and lands on the bedroom floor. But it is not over yet. Because when she turns around, she sees a vision of her mom who died during childbirth. Out of nowhere, her stomach turns into this giant mouth full of teeth and starts trying to pull Ronnie back in. But it turns out Ronnie's low-key a savage, and she just bites the cord off and gets away. Suddenly, the monster gets up and screams right in her face, but it finally disappears just as her dad opens the door. At school, Ronnie tells Lily about
cookies. I remember when I first watched this. By the way, edited reaction on my main YouTube channel, TheKidLaw, and uncut reaction of the whole series on my Patreon, if you want to check that out. But dude, I was shook.
What happened, which brings them back to that night at the movie theater. Ronnie asks Lily if she told the cops what really happened. You know, with the giant demonic baby and all that. And the truth is, Lily decided to leave all that stuff out, cause she's worried that if she tells the truth, they'll just say that she's crazy and send her back to the hospital. Anyways, later on that day, the cops pull Lily out of school and ask her some more questions, but this time Chief Bowers has a slimy little plan. Instead of asking if Ronnie's dad was there on the night of the attack, he asks if she's positive that Mr. Grogan wasn't there. And he vaguely threatens that if she doesn't tell him what he wants to hear, she could end up becoming a suspect herself. So with no other choice, Lily...
Was he there? Nod your head yes. Was he there? Well, it doesn't even matter if he was there or not, because I'm gonna spin the narrative either way, and I'm still sending you to the psych ward. Like, every single person in this town was so evil, just like Pennywise.
He gives in, and that's all they need to go lock him up. Alright guys, now I know Pennywise is supposed to be evil, but this dude, the chief, is the real monster. I mean, blackmailing a kid just so you can lock up her friend's dad with no evidence, that's...
a black man.
That's just crazy. But Lily was right about one thing though. Even if she told the truth about what happened, this dude would have never believed her, which means their only option is to prove that Ronnie's dad didn't do it. And this is where Pennywise might actually be able to help us out here. What just happened to Ronnie proves that the monster is still out there, and if more kids start going missing while Hank is already locked up, that should basically prove that he's innocent. Now, I'm definitely not saying they should do this, but if they had some psycho bully like Bauer's future grandson, I mean, hypothetically, they could try introducing them to Pennywise to speed things up, you know, I'm just saying. But nah, because actually the clown's gonna keep catching bodies no matter what, so the most important thing right now is making sure they don't get bodied first. But I already figured out a plan for this one. From what just happened with Ronnie and even Teddy back in the first episode, we saw that the visions disappear as soon as somebody you trust shows up. So all we gotta do is stay close to somebody that we trust, and for the kids, that should be pretty easy. Like at school, I would just hang out with the squad all day. And then back at home, I'd just stay near a trusted adult and I'd be Gucci, man.
Nah, that wouldn't work. Sorry, sir. That literally wouldn't work. There's been multiple times where the Pennywise will show up in a group with a surrounding group of people. Even when we're gonna see later, whatever is a trusted adult, don't really matter. Pennywise will antagonize you out in the open, out in the public. And in Welcome to Derry, he was antagonizing the adults. He was showing up to the adults also. So, cook. That's cook. There's no way out of that one.
And all we gotta do is survive until Pennywise strikes again, proving that Ronnie's dad is innocent, and bada bing, bada boom, we all live happily ever after. But as we're about to see, it's not always that simple in Derry. Meanwhile, back at the base, they end up arresting this racist dude, Masters, for attacking Major Hanlon. But the Major has a hunch that there's more to this story, so he decides to stop in and pay the guy a visit. Stepping into the cell, he whips out the same type of pistol that they had the other night, a Soviet kind that he remembers from back in the day, and he puts it down next to a loaded magazine on the bench right between them. Well, out of nowhere, he starts cracking jokes about this dude's mom, and he keeps rage baiting him until Masters finally goes for the strap. But sure enough, he has no idea how to load it, and just like that, Hanlon has his proof.
Like, gotcha.
So he goes straight to the general's office to say what he found, but as he's about to leave, the general tells him to have a seat. He explains that it was all just a test, because back in Korea, Hanlon took an injury that damaged his brain, leaving him with no sense of fear. So the general needed to find out if it actually was true, because he needs Hanlon's talents for a top secret project. And that's the real reason why they brought him to Derry. The next day, Lily heads downtown to get some groceries, and everything seems pretty normal at first, but as she heads towards the back, the aisles start shifting to block her in. That's when she starts hearing voices behind her back, and this one creepy dude starts following right behind her, but when she turns around, it looks like no one is there. She starts to panic as she realizes that something is about to go down, but as she turns a corner, she ends up trapped at a dead end. And getting closer, she realizes that the cereal boxes are all showing pictures of her dead friends.
Yo, they got sponsored.
She turns around to run, but this time she finds herself trapped in the pickle aisle. And as she's looking for a way out, her father's face suddenly appears in one of the jars. Lily picks up the jar and shatters it on the ground, but I
still don't know why she shattered the jar, bro. This just made it worse for her. Like, and then it's open. Like, this is nasty. Nasty. Come on, Lily. Lily brain bridge, lock in.
As soon as she does, all of the other jars start crashing right off the shelves. And she ends up slipping in the pickle juice as all the body parts start forming some kind of freaky squid monster. Ew. Suddenly a tentacle reaches out and wraps around her neck as the monster gets right in her face. But just as it sticks out out its tongue, the manager comes running over and the creature disappears. And of course, it looks like it was all in her head. So sure enough, they end up sending her back to the hospital anyway, and it seems like her worst fears are actually coming true. Well, I guess you could say that Lily here is in a bit of a pickle. Now, I'm not even gonna lie if I...
That was funny. That was guys, that was funny, right? Laugh,
I saw this thing coming at me, I would be scared as well. Like, bro, please put that tongue away, please. But in all seriousness, things are about to get pretty bad, because now Pennywise isn't just attacking when they're home alone. I mean, he's pulling up in broad daylight, ready to jump them in front of everybody.
Yes, this is why your last little theory you made falls flat.
So yeah, I'd say it's probably time to adjust their strat. Now, the first mistake these girls made here was splitting up, and I know what just happened to Ronnie's dad was terrible, but since they're only the ones who know the truth about this thing, they need to start working together and sharing information. Like, Ronnie could have already told Lily that this thing took the shape of her dead parent, and that she was almost able to fight it off just by digging deep and believing in herself. And that's the kind of stuff that she's gonna want to know if she actually wants a chance to survive. Like, they still don't know what this thing is or why it's after them, but by now they should know enough to establish some ground rules. So first off, if you notice anything that logically shouldn't exist, that's how you know it's about to show up. And just by seeing the pattern, they'll already be less afraid, which makes it less strong.
True.
And now we're in business. But after that, all they gotta do is remember that you can actually fight back against these things if you try. So if one of these monsters appeared, I'd just grab a weapon and start swinging. I mean, yeah, this pickle squid was freaky as hell and all, but one good dead space stomp and he would have been toast. So yeah, that probably should have been enough to keep them safe for now, at least until the clown starts getting serious. At the base, the general tells Major Hanlon the real reason they brought him out, and they're looking for some kind of mysterious weapon that preys on people's fears. And since he doesn't feel fear, he's the perfect guy for the job. The only problem is they have no idea where it is. But this dude, Private Halloran, is gonna help them figure it out. So it turns out that way back in the day, the general actually grew up here in Derry, and he became friends with this Native American girl, Rose. One day while they were out playing in the field, little Frankie ran into the forest, but he didn't get that far before he felt like something was watching him. So just then he turned around to see this one-eyed old man from the traveling circus peeking out from behind a tree. But somehow this dude suddenly teleported right behind him. And as Frankie took off running for his life, the old man transformed into this giant Wendigo-type demon and started chasing after him. Well, sure enough, the kid tripped over a branch, but just when it looked like this thing was about to eat him, Rose showed up and blasted it with a slingshot, giving her friend a chance to escape. Back at school, Lily finds Ronnie after getting back out of the hospital. She's finally ready to tell the truth, but now they've got a problem, because nobody's gonna believe her. So what they need is a way
Because you're crazy, Lily Bainbridge. You're insane.
Get some proof. And Lily's got a plan to catch the creature on camera. But even if they do get some pictures, they can't exactly send them in to get developed. So they decide to call in some help from Major Hanlon.
This is probably the stupidest idea. We're talking about physical amalgamations that disappear just like that. You think you can catch it on film? Like, no.
Hanlon's son, Will. Meanwhile, the general decides that it's time to get Private Halloran in the field. So they send him up in a chopper with Major Hanlon and Polly. As they're flying over the town, Halloran breaks out the slingshot from back when the general was a kid.
Way back
and he
when.
starts using it to guide them towards something in the forest. He then starts to spaz out as the visions keep getting stronger and stronger, until out of nowhere he just gets up and starts walking towards the back of the chopper. He looks down to see a bunch of water gathering around by his feet, and when he turns around, a giant metal door traps him in some kind of underground chamber. That's when he sees it, a circus wagon that belongs to none other than Pennywise the Clown. And when the door falls open, he sees a pair of bright orange eyes staring right back at him.
This was pissing me off. Like, yes, it was scary, but looking back at it, it's like, dude, Pennywise just edging us for like half the whole entire season. All we see is Pennywise glowing eyes.
Looking up, he sees dozens of bodies just floating in midair, but one of them turns out to be his grandma, and she tells Halloran that he needs to run. So Halloran starts opening the door, but in reality, he's actually opening the back of the chopper, but just as he's about to fall out, the Major rushes over and pulls him back in. Man, talk about a close call here. This dude Halloran almost just went out like a boomer the first time they tried virtual reality. Well, as long as they keep him away from Jack Nicholson, he should be
Why'd you just show me that? That just pissed me off, dude. I'm telling you, like, this man survived the worst, and then he doesn't die of old age. He dies from a freaking serial killer in The Shining. Like,
but their plans could definitely use some work. I mean, like the Colonel said, Halloran is the key to this whole thing, so sending him up in a sketchy-ass helicopter so he can mind meld with that entity that literally feeds on fear is pretty much the dumbest thing they could have done. Now, if I was the general here, then I'd be doing everything to make sure that Halloran stayed safe, because if we lose this guy, then there goes the whole plan.
That's only in the movie, so he doesn't die in the novel?
So at a bare minimum, I'm putting a harness on this dude to stop him from falling out of the helicopter, and even giving him a damn parachute just in case he does. I'm also putting a trained psychic handler back there, plus a medic, and at least one security guard just to make sure that we got everything covered.
Yeah, pull up, just bring John Wick at this point.
But to be honest though, I could never have anything to do with this plan anyway, because trying to catch Pennywise...
Bro, if he survives in the book, why'd they change that for the movie? Like, pissing me off. At the same time, like, I don't know if we can even go by the book anymore, because I don't like what Stephen King be doing in the books. I heard what they did in the It book. Stephen King's a disgusting man.
And turn him into a weapon. It's literally the most brain dead thing I've ever heard. Like, we're talking about a reality shifting monster here, and these guys think that they're gonna control that? Like, how dumb could you possibly be? So nah, if I was Halloran, I'd just keep giving the general bad information until he finally got frustrated and gave up. But these dudes have no idea what they're getting themselves into. When they get back to base, the general goes to visit Halloran and find out what happened. The incident has him pretty shook, and he suggests that they should just quit while they're ahead. But the general...
The director and Stephen King were fighting about the movie direction. Oh, for sure. 100%. I knew, like, Stephen King just needed the movie to be exactly like Freak Boy.
Just tells him to get some rest. Back with the kids, Lily and Ronnie decide to team up with Will and his friend Rich. And she brings them up to the clubhouse so that they can come up with a plan. They're trying to figure out what this thing even is, and Rich chimes in that it must be some kind of evil spirit. Apparently his uncle knew all about this kind of stuff and even taught my boy Rich here a way to summon them. So the squad decides that that's what they're gonna do. So that...
I'm about to start crying, dude. Oh my gosh, my guy Rich. I'm gonna save the tears. Oh my gosh, bro. Best character.
Night, the kids all head to the cemetery and set up the ritual, but no matter how hard they try, they can't really get anything to show up. It turns out that Rich was low-key fibbing just to impress the ladies, and they storm off all mad at the boys for wasting their time. But as they're riding back down the path, the gate starts getting farther and farther away, and the ground starts falling apart right underneath them, forcing them all to split up. But that's when the spirits of their friends come rising up from their graves and start chasing after them.
Ew.
And Lily whips out her camera to get a photo, but it accidentally gets caught on a tree.
Because of
Ronnie
course it
ends
does.
up grabbing it next, but she gets scared and passes it to Rich. And meanwhile, Will ends up crashing into some kind of tomb. He grabs the camera just as Rich comes flying by, but as he's about to skedaddle, he hears something in the darkness.
Oh my God,
and as he leans in closer to get a photo, a clown suddenly reaches out of the shadows. But he ends up making it back to the others, and when they go to develop the photos, they realize that it actually worked. But they didn't just get photos of the ghosts, because in the last photo that Will took, they see this creepy white-haired clown lady just posted up in the background. So now that they have their proof, they all rush over to the police station to show the chief.
Go straight
but
to the
when
police.
he takes a look at the photos, there's suddenly nothing there.
Duh.
The only one that's still visible is the clown, but that doesn't really prove anything, so obviously he tells the...
The only reason why the clown was there is because the clown was actually real. It's the only thing that could be physical. Come on, man. Come on, guys.
Kids to get the hell out of there or else. I hate to say it, but these kids pretty much set themselves up for this one. And honestly, they're just lucky to be alive at this point. Like, first of all, they had no idea if this thing would actually show up on camera or not. And even if they got the photos, why would anyone actually believe them? They'd obviously just say it was fake like they just did here, and the worst part is that now they look even less trustworthy than they did before. So that's not gonna make things any easier. They probably should have been suspicious right from the moment these ghosts let them escape, because why would this thing just let them go unless it was part of a trap? But with that being said, there's still something useful they can learn from all this. Like, even though the spirits didn't show up on camera, there was one thing that still did, that freaky ass clown lady. What this tells us is that unlike the other ghosts, this clown was actually there. And if she exists in the real world, then the kids can track her down and find out what she knows. So the first thing I'd do is try to make a few copies of this photo, then I'd show them around to the other kids at school and find out if anyone else has seen her.
Yo, anyone seen a killer clown by perchance in the woods, just stalking in the background? Just let me know. Just if you see them, tell them come to my door. Come to me.
And I'm making flyers, pretending like we want to hire a clown for one of the kids' birthday parties. It's a long shot, but the clown might see it as a chance to get close to them. And who knows, maybe she'll take the bait. Otherwise, we're gonna head to the library and check for any old newspaper articles about clowns, carnivals, circuses, you know, that kind of stuff, and see if
reward money for lost clown. Yeah, I'm giving 2 nickels and a dime for a lost clown. You could get like some like ice cream with that. Back then, 2 nickels and a dime, man. What else you could probably get like 5 ice cream cones. That's good money. That's good money.
If that turns up any leads. But since she's already found them once, there's a good chance that she's gonna turn up again, so the next time they see her, they need to try and follow her and find out how else she connects to everything that's been going on. Well, during gym class, Will says that they should find out if this has ever happened before. But to do that, they'll need some help from somebody older, and most of the adults in this town are honestly kind of sus. So Lily decides to visit her friend, Mrs. Kirsch, who works up at the hospital and lives there in town. As it turns out, a bunch of kids actually went missing about 30 years back. And even though she never really heard anything about a clown per se, she tells Lily that they should keep looking for answers. Later on that day, Will's mom, Charlotte, catches him with the photos, and now
hey Charlotte, I missed you.
She wants to know just what he's been up to. So he sits down and tells her the whole story about Ronnie's dad and the clown in the graveyard. But after hearing him out, she warns him to stay out of trouble. It's been a while since Will and his dad have done anything together, so that weekend...
I don't know why she was getting so much hate. There was like a whole subgenre of people that thought like she was like one of the worst characters because she was being a black activist and standing up for her rights. Right, okay, because that's bad. Right, okay, sure.
Leroy decides to take the kid out fishing. And you already know who's chilling out there. Well, everything's going fine until a fish takes Will's lure, but while his dad goes back to the car to get a new one, Will starts to feel like he's being watched.
They deadass were like, no, she's just doing too much. Like when she tried to stop the fight with the kids, people were like, just like stay in your place, like you're doing too much. And then like when she tried to help old dude that got locked up, they're pretty much just saying she's doing too much. When all she's doing is helping a black man that got framed for no reason. That's doing too much. I know who the raccoons are. Whoever agreed with that statement, I know who the raccoons are. I gotta watch out for you.
Just then, a big old fish comes swimming right up to him. But that's when a zombified version of his dad reaches up and starts trying to pull him under. Leroy hears the kid scream and goes running down to help, but by the time that he gets there, it's already kinda disappeared. But Will still has the marks on his arm to prove it, and as he's telling his dad what happened, they both turn around to see a single red balloon come floating out of the bushes.
Nasty.
Back at the clubhouse, the kids realize that the creature must be preying on their fears. But if it could get them at any time, then why are they still alive? Well, Will thinks that it must be doing this on purpose, because when they're scared, their bodies produce special chemicals. So basically, it's just scaring them so that they'll taste better. Meanwhile,
oh, that sounds like adrenochrome. That sounds like some Jeffrey Epstein shit. Oh my god, wow.
Charlotte gets permission to visit Hank at the police station, and she has some connections from her time with the civil rights movement, and says that she can get Hank out on house arrest. The only problem is he's still refusing to say where he was on the night of the attacks. But after she turns up the pressure, he finally admits that he was with a married white woman. And now it all makes sense, because
he was cracking white shit. He was cracking the white shit. Now look. Is that really bad? I mean, yes, because like you said, if the word came out, he would have got lynched. I'm not gonna lie. But I would take my chances. I would take my chances with Megan Fox back in the 1960s. Even if I might get lynched in the process, I'm going expeditiously. And you're not catching me. That's the thing. I'm fleeing town next morning, bro. What?
Because the racists in town would kill him if...
I'm throwing this stream. You bouncing on it? That's what's up.
If they ever found out. One day at school, Lily and Marge are in the restroom when Marge starts getting this terrible headache, and out of friggin' nowhere, her eyeballs start sprouting into these giant, disgusting slug eyes. Horrified, she takes off running until she gets to the wood shop, and I probably shouldn't say exactly what happens next, but basically she just starts trying to get rid of him jigsaw style, if you catch my drift. Until Lily finally runs in and stops her. But that's when everybody else shows up, and all they see is Lily holding a chisel over the girl's head, and to them it looks like she's the one who did it.
Cooked.
Alright, well, I guess Marge and the clown aren't seeing eye to eye. But nah, the only good news
that was fun. That was funny. No, you're the funniest. You're the funniest, Bertram. You're so funny.
here is that Marge isn't about to let Lily take the fall for this one, so at least she won't be going up to Shawshank next to Ronnie's dad. But this right here just goes to show that nobody is safe. Now, after what happened back on the fishing
Watching this while playing Valorant and in class. Multitask of doom. How the how the frick are you even paying attention right now?
trip, Will finally figured out that this thing isn't just smoking people all willy-nilly. It's scaring them on purpose because it feeds on their fear. But if they understand at least that much about it, then they already know how to counter it. So what they need to do is find a way to resist the fear. But there's a way that they
Okay, so pretty much you're playing Valorant and watching the stream. You're not even in class. You said he muted the class. You can't hear shit. You're not learning anything right now. Hey, but you're there, and that's all that matters. So they think you're listening and paying attention.
Can train themselves to overcome even their worst fears without nothing but their own minds. First, the group needs to get together and think of all the things that they fear the most. Then they need to start intentionally exposing each other to those fears, but in a safe way. In real life, this is called exposure therapy, and therapists actually use it as a way to help patients get past their fears.
Damn, I think I need to start therapy. I think this is the perfect time for me to start therapy. Because if they can start using exposure therapy and just send like 10 bad bitches in one by one at a time, big booty Latinas preferably, throw in Megan Fox if you can, I can get over my fears slowly but surely. So I think I'm gonna get a therapist, guys. I think I'm gonna get a therapist and start the exposure therapy. Hashtag growth, hashtag progress.
The only downside is that it can take months or even years to really make a breakthrough, and obviously they don't have that much time. But it's never too late to start, and just by getting some reps in now, they'll already be more prepared for when the clown actually shows up. That night, Will wakes up from a nightmare and decides to look through his telescope, but when he points it down at the road, he sees that the same clown from the graveyard is just standing in front of their house. The Major rushes outside to confront them, and of course there's nobody there, but as he turns to go back inside, he sees another red balloon floating in the tree. Well, at this point he's officially had enough, so he storms into the general's office to get some answers, but instead of explaining, the general leads him to an interrogation room, where they're holding this Native American dude, Tanielle, who got caught sneaking around the base. He says that Tanielle knows something about what they're after, and since he won't talk, they're gonna use Halloran to figure it out. So Halloran starts using his powers to literally get inside this dude's head, and after a long struggle, he's finally able to get in. Once he's inside, he watches him.
How many of y'all actually do therapy? And do y'all ever practice with exposure therapy? Because I'm super scared of big booty Latina bitches, bro. I'm super scared, and I need to get over that fear. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like horrible, 10 being amazing, how much has the exposure therapy worked for you? Hold up, he has superpowered. Mystical, did you not watch the season? You better go and watch the reactions. That was literally my favorite show last year. You haven't watched Mystical? If you don't go watch the freaking show right now, Law, you farming the live action One Piece season 2. I haven't even watched season 1. You watched one video on here. Was it too scary for you? You better finish it. I ain't gonna lie. Don't piss me off. That show's too good. But I'm very self-aware, so I know the things to do. That's the thing. It's like anytime someone brings up therapy, I'm like, like I know I could do it because it's cool, to get perspective. But it's like I already know what I need to do, and that's the problem. But don't watch episode 2 in the dark. Of what? Are you talking about Welcome to Derry? Yeah, episode 2 is the scary. Yeah. Farm the View. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I would want to, but next week we got Invincible, so I'm about to be farming. I'm farming Invincible, Daredevil, The Boys, and Euphoria views for the rest of the next 2 months. Live action not bad. I heard this one of the best live actions. Like I want to watch it, so maybe we'll see though.
Memory from back when Tanielle was just a kid, and his Aunt Rose told him about the creature called the Galoo. According to the story, the spirit crashed to Earth millions of years ago, and it haunted the woods until one day their ancestors gathered the pieces of the star it came down in and buried them all around town to create a cage. And now, thanks to Danielle, Halloran knows exactly where to find them, or at least that's what he thinks. Meanwhile, Lily stops in to visit Marge at the hospital, and the good news is Marge told everyone that it was all just an accident, but she can't tell them all what really happened, or else...
Yo, she's so lucky she didn't pluck out both of her eyeballs. Yo, she was so close to knocking out her other eye.
They'd probably start calling her crazy as well, so she's worried that whoever did this might come back. But Lily promises that she has her back no matter what. Later on, the kids head back to their hideout to talk things over, but that's when they hear someone coughing inside the tent. And all of a sudden, that kid Maddie sticks his head out. You know, the one that's been missing for like 4 months.
As soon as I seen this, I swear, as soon as I seen this, I knew it was a trap. I knew it was a trap. Oh, hold on. I swear I said something about it being a trap. There's no way I didn't. It makes no sense. It makes no sense for him to be there. Believe how in me the review exactly. I'm gonna need a remix.
So I'll be no.
Who they? Who?
River Hill. If I told them what I really saw.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why we keep our lips hush. We don't tell grown-ups anything. Who there? Who goes? Who goes there?
This is a private club. Announce yourself.
We have a bat and we will use it.
Maddie?
Maddie? How did you get... No. Trap. That's Pennywise. That's a trap. I knew it. Yeah, I called it. I was like, there's no way, bro. There's no way, bro. These kids are stupid. I can't lie. Like...
Well, somehow it looks like he's still alive. Like, what? He starts explaining that the clown had him trapped in the sewers the entire time, and apparently he was able to sneak out while it was sleeping. But he's not the only one who survived, because he says their friend Phil is still down there as well. So obviously...
But it's like, bro, we seen Phil get split into 2 pieces back at the... You know, there's no way. And then also, it's like, it's been 4 months. What could you be eating down there? Poop? No. You got no type of sustentation down there. You're dying.
The
You're
others
dead.
all want to go in and save him. But when Ronnie says that they should tell the cops, Maddie starts freaking out. He's worried they'll just send him back to his dad if they find out that he's still alive, and he starts threatening to just run away again if they snitch him out. So it looks like they're gonna have to come up with another plan. Well, after paying a visit...
Okay, see, this is where, like, the second half of the season is when the show really picks up and does this big one. And come to find out, when they first started shooting, the reason why the show doesn't show Pennywise is because at first they weren't going... They didn't have Bill Skarsgård in the show. Pennywise wasn't even supposed to be in the show, which doesn't make any sense and is very stupid, because why would you start a show about Pennywise and not have Pennywise? Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. So yeah, luckily I guess they finally got the rights to use Pennywise and Bill Skarsgård and all that. So that's why in the later half, that's when we finally start seeing Pennywise. Pennywise isn't his true form. Yeah, well, duh. But like, nigga, we need Pennywise. It's like, you can't have a show about it and not have Pennywise. So again, second episode is the scariest because they did the big one with these scares. But then like episode 3, 4 is like, eh. But then 5 to 10 or 5 to 8, they pick it up. And this is when I actually get intrigued about the lore.
To her friend, Mrs. Kirsch, Lily realizes that the cops won't believe their story anyway. But if they can save Phil, that should get Ronnie's dad out of jail. So they decide to offer Maddie a choice. Either he can show them how to get through the sewers, or they'll turn him over to the feds. So he reluctantly agrees to help him out. But the kids are not the only one with their eyes on the sewers, because after what they learned from Danielle, the military's getting ready to head down there too. You see, they're after the pillars that Danielle's ancestors buried to keep it contained, because as dumb as it sounds, they're actually trying to capture the clown and turn it into a weapon. Crazy.
Yo, leave it up to the government, the military, to do the stupidest shit imaginable.
I know. So with Danielle leading the way, they send a squad down into the tunnels under the house on Neibolt Street. But the colonel warns them to just start blasting if they see anything weird, which could turn into a problem because they still have no clue that Lily and her friends are actually down there still. Alright, this is shaping up to be a total disaster, if I don't say so myself, and honestly, you gotta have a goldfish level IQ to be making all these kind of mistakes. Like first, we got the general, and now, like I already said, this whole...
These are the people that be getting all the American tax dollars. All the funding goes to these fuckboys. Huh, interesting.
Plan to capture Pennywise and use him like some kind of weapon is literally the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. So I would never be involved with this clown show in the first place. But man, where do I even start?
I need to see the origins. That's the only lore I think I care about now. Of course, about the the big events like the shooting and then the fire the whatever, the waterworks explosion. But I want to see the origins on the house. They have to show the house in like when like I think it's gonna be on the 3rd season, the final season, is we're gonna see the house like first being built and the people living there and what happened there. Why was the well built on top of the house? They probably go over this in the book, hopefully. But I need to see all that.
While Danielle has absolutely no reason to actually help them, so he could easily end up leading them straight into a trap. On top of that, they're sending Halloran, the guy who's the key to this whole operation, straight into Pennywise's lair with nothing but 6 or 7 guys to back him up. And like, seriously, how dumb can you be? So nah, if I was planning this out, I would have started by finding all the possible entrances to the tunnels and blocking them off. That way we know there wouldn't be any surprises. Then I'd send Daniel and at least 2 squads of soldiers in there to clear the path, and only after they made sure it was safe would I risk sending Halloran in to do the thing. That's the military, but the kids are a whole nother story. Like, bro, they just walked straight into Pennywise's lair knowing full well there's a demonic clown down there that wants to try and eat them. And they didn't even pack so much as a ham sandwich. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. At least
they packed perks. They took perks.
Have flashlights, so at least they thought that far ahead, but they've got nothing to protect themselves or anything. So first things first, they're all gonna...
Did you play Poppy Playtime Chapter 5? Hell no. And I will never touch another Poppy Playtime. I'm done after Chapter 4. Chapter 4 was so butt.
I need some weapons. And remember, anything works against Pennywise as long as you believe it does. So go nuts. Then I'm grabbing some hockey or like football pads or like a bike helmet and getting armored up, because guess what? That's not just gonna raise my defense, but it's also gonna give me a huge confidence boost. And against Pennywise, that's basically his kryptonite. Then we're bringing some chalk to mark the path, walkie-talkies or whistles in case we get lost, and tying ourselves together in pairs so that nobody ever ends up alone. And then at least we might stand a chance. The soldiers can feel the evil vibes pretty much as soon as they enter the tunnels, but nothing happens until they get to a spot where they have to drop down into a deep pool of water. Everyone else makes it through just fine, but when Halloran goes for it, the floor suddenly drops out from underneath him. And when he finally reaches...
Now that might be like a new fear of mine. Just dropping in like a shallow end, but it just keeps going. Heck, I'm sorry. Anything underwater, I'm cool off. So cool. Oh gosh. I have to play Subnautica. Oh no. Why did I think of that? Like, that's literally, oh god. I have to play it though, because I have to use exposure therapy. I gotta start exposure therapying soon. I don't like the open ocean. Yeah, if you like the open ocean, you're weird, because that's just too much scary stuff. And the fact that we haven't even fully discovered everything makes me want to hyperventilate and blow my shit smooth off. Okay, but yeah, let me know if you should play Subnautica. Subnautica 2 is isn't it dropping this year? But I think that is fire because Subnautica 2 is multiplayer, so I don't have to do it alone. I can get the homies to play Subnautica 2. We can all deep dive in the deepest of the ocean. Godzilla chilling at the bottom of the ocean. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Reaches the surface, he finds himself in some random bathtub. As he pulls himself out, he sees another vision of his grandma, who tries warning him that someone is coming. But it is too late, and that's when his grandpa opens the door holding this weird chained up box. He starts shouting at Halloran to open it up, but whatever's in there, Halloran does not want to let it out. So he tries resisting it for as long as he can, but the more afraid he gets, the more his grandpa starts to change, until he's laughing and smiling just like the freaking clown. Ew. And when he can't hold on any longer, the old man pulls off the lock and opens the lid. Meanwhile, Danielle notices the group got split up and decides to make a break for it, but the colonel just starts opening fire as he runs away.
Crazy.
And in the chaos, he ends up losing this special dagger that he got from his Aunt Rose. As for the kids, they start following Maddie until they hit a dead end, but that's when Marge bumps against something in the water, and looking down, they're horrified to see that it's the dead bodies of all their missing friends, including Maddie. Well, just then, the other Maddie starts transforming right in front of them, until all of a sudden they realize that it was actually Pennywise this entire time.
Gotcha, stupidos!
So obviously they all start running for their lives as the clown comes chasing after them, but they're all in such a hurry that Lily gets left behind. The others all go running back towards the exit, but Hanlon and Polly just got there as well. And remember, they don't think that there's anyone else down there. So when Hanlon sees his son running straight at him, he thinks it's all a trick and gets ready to open fire. But Polly realizes that it's really just the kids, and he pushes the Major's rifle down at the last second, but he accidentally gets hit in the process. And yeah, it's not looking good. So knowing that he's cooked, he forgives Hanlon for what happened and tells him to get the out of there. Lily ends up hitting another dead end, and turning around, she's horrified to see Pennywise grilling her down. He starts getting closer and closer, just letting the fear sink in, but when he's finally about to grab her, something stops him dead in his tracks, and they look down to see the dagger that Danielle lost just sitting there in the water.
Lily, you're saved by plot armor. You're so welcome. Yay. You're welcome, Lily Brainbridge. You should be dead right now, but the plot armor saved you.
Whatever this thing is made of, Pennywise cannot get past it. And realizing that he can't reach her, he just disappears back into the tunnels. So Lily picks up the shard and goes back to finding her way out.
Yeah, bro, she should have been cooked
Alright,
there.
now this does change everything. Like, we already know that pretty much anything can be used as a weapon against Pennywise as...
What movies he got in the bag? Let me see if there's any movies I actually watched. Already lost me. I see a Bill Cosby movie. Yeah, I don't know why you watching Bill Cosby movies. I see Scary Movie 2. Haven't seen that, but I know that's good. Ninja Assassin. I heard about that movie. What else they got? Yeah, he has a Family Guy movie. Right. Step Brothers. I've seen parts of that when I was younger. Hot Fuzz. That sounds like a porno. I don't know.
As long as you just believe. But with this thing, they don't even have to use their imagination. Like, it just works because it's made of Clown's space egg or whatever. But even with this...
You never seen Scary Movie 2? No. The only Scary Movie I've seen fully was Scary Movie 5 with Ashley Tisdale. That's the only movie I actually sat down and watched.
New weapon, the kids would have to be crazy to try and fight him themselves, but the good news is they don't really have to. Like, look, most of these adults in town are useless, but Major Hanlon already knows that this thing is real, and he has every reason to spin the block after what just happened to Polly. And the best part is, he has no fear response, so Pennywise literally can't scare him. But we're not just gonna send him in there alone. You see, they might be new to all this Pennywise stuff, but this dude, Daniel, is a part of a secret order that's been dealing with the clown for like hundreds of years. Like, in the past, it's been easier for them to keep it contained, but...
Wait, cause wait, I thought Scary Movie 6 is the one that's coming out. Or is it Scary Movie 7 that's coming out? Do I got it confused? Wait, let me see real quick. 6 is the one that's coming out? Okay, so yeah, I've probably seen, it's probably Scary Movie 7 Scary Movie 5 that I haven't. No, did I watch this? Maybe it's 4 then. Wait, let me look at this. Wait, let me see. Let me look at the trailer. Let me see if I remember this. Hold on. Yeah, Ashley Tisdale was in it.
Kendra? What? There's someone out there!
Front door open.
Someone's in the house!
Okay, yeah, I think it's the one I watched. I don't even remember this, honestly. Only thing I remember is that she was in it. Was she in any other ones? Don't remember? Okay. Yeah, but if anything, before Scary Movie 6 comes out, we gotta go back and just watch all of them. That's something we definitely gotta start very soon, because the next one drops, what, a couple months?
Now that the military's trying to let it out, the only way to make sure that never happens is to finally defeat it once and for all. So, like, here's my plan. First, the Major hands the dagger over to Major Hanlon. Then they all go to his apartment on the Air Force Base, where they'll be safe because they're out of its territory. Then the Major's just gonna team up with Daniel and his squad, and they all head back to Pennywise's lair for the final showdown. And if they pull it off, then they'll never have to worry about this dude Pennywise ever again. After escaping from the sewers, the kids all meet back up at the clubhouse, where Lily shows them all her new space rock. But she's acting all weirdly protective over it and won't let anyone else even touch it. Since the clown seemed afraid of it, Lily thinks that they should go back for round 2, except this time they'll be packed.
She acting like someone that just got in a relationship with their first fine shit. Acting mad overprotective. Like, what's going on?
In that heat. But Ronnie is not going for it.
Ronnie. Speaking on Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie.
Thinks they'll end up getting smoked if they try to go down there again, and it blows up into this whole argument that ends up with both girls storming off. So Will goes chasing after Ronnie, but they end up getting spotted by his mom, and she tells both of them to hop in the whip. You see, Ronnie's dad was on his way up to Shawshank Prison when the bus crashed, and instead of sticking around, he decided to run for it. So he made his way back to Derry, but now everyone in town is out to get him for the $500 reward. So Charlotte brought him to the only place where he could hide, the off-base clubhouse that Halloran and his Air Force buddies have been using. Well, Ronnie's obviously happy to see her dad again, but now Halloran's got a bad feeling that they're all gonna end up in trouble. The next day after school, Will brings Marge and Rich to the clubhouse to see Ronnie and her dad. They're hoping that they can convince Ronnie to help them fight the clown, but they have no idea that Pennywise has other plans. Meanwhile, Lily decides to visit her friend Mrs. Kirsch for some advice, but when no one answers the door, she decides to just let herself in. She ends up finding this old photo book full of pictures from back in the day, but as she's flipping through it, she gets to a photo of Mrs. Kirsch's dad. And what's crazy is, this dude looks just like Pennywise. Like, he's even got the giant forehead and everything. everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's when Mrs. Kirsch walks in and catches her, and Lily starts explaining
Damn, bro, she's so bad.
what happened down in the tunnels. But when this lady finds out that she saw the clown, everything
Like the milk is like on the verge of getting spoiled, but like I still drink it.
suddenly changes. It turns out the clown that they saw back at the cemetery, it was her. Because this whole time she's been trying to bring Pennywise back. Apparently, back in the day, her dad Bob was the original Pennywise, but one night he suddenly went missing without a trace. So Mrs. Kirsch ended up staying in Derry and started working at
Mrs. Kirsch, give me Kurt.
the hospital, but then years later, she heard this little girl talking about a clown named Pennywise who lived in the basement. And desperate to see her dad again, she asked the kid to show her. Sure enough, the clown showed up, and it was like seeing her pops suddenly brought back to life. So even after he went all demon mode, Mrs. Kirsch still believed it really was her dad. And she's been trying to bring him back ever since. So yeah, this entire time Mrs. Kirsch was low-key setting them up. So Lily charges past her and runs out of the house, but now it feels like there's nobody left to help them out. Alright, now
My thing is, right, why was Mrs. Kirsch giving Kirk to old dude? Like that whole plot was so random. Like, yeah, they was cracking. She was giving Kirk on the back of the back.
well, this might actually look pretty bad, but they actually learned some pretty useful information here. First though, these kids need to quit fighting and get back on the same team. Because at the end of the day, Pennywise has a lot in common with a demonic spirit, and if there's one thing I learned from watching the entire Conjuring franchise recently, it's that demons are always the strongest when you feel alone. So before we
Okay, good to know. That's why I have 2 cats with me. Cats are very spiritual and healing in nature. So I should be good, guys. I should be good, I think.
even
Hopefully.
talk about anything else, Lily and Ronnie need to squash the beef and become friends again. Because the truth is, they both want this clown gone. But hiding from it is not gonna work, so Lily's right. They need to do something about it before it's too late. Now, we already talked about what they should do with the dagger, and I still think giving it to Major Hamlin is the best plan, but after this conversation with Mrs. Kirsch, they have some new material to use against Pennywise the next time that he shows up. You see, Lily just learned that this whole Pennywise persona is actually based off a real guy named Bob. And in real life, this dude wasn't even scary at all. He was just a sad, pathetic clown who got beat up by kids ages 9 to 5. And now that we know his true identity, he's cooked crispy, because if you remember, the best way to counter Pennywise is to turn him into a joke, so the next time he shows up, they can all just be like, you're not even scary, you're just some broke loser named Bob. And they can actually just bully him into submission. So yeah, once I found that out,
The way to defeat Pennywise is to bully him until he becomes a little itty bitty petite clown. You just bully him until he gets small and petite. Bully the bully. I'm not gonna lie. Pennywise don't even sound like a threat that much anymore. Like, I'm still scared. I'm still super scared of like big booty Latinas. I'm so scared. I'm super scared. But like Pennywise himself, like, that's not scary. You're not scary.
Eating him should be easy street. So back at the clubhouse, the others are still trying to convince Ronnie, but now that she finally has her dad back, she's not about to take any chances. Frustrated, she storms off and goes back to see her pops. But Will is not backing down, so he decides to follow her and try again. Well, Hank's obviously not about to let his daughter go back to the sewers to fight some evil clown, but since Ronnie clearly likes Will, he decides that they should get to know each other while they have the chance. Now, Halloran's friends were also planning a little party for later that night, so while Will's busy with Ronnie and her dad, Rich and Marge decide to post up and check it out. But they got no idea that Pennywise is about to show up uninvited. Meanwhile, back in town, the local racists are all still trying to figure out where Hank could be hiding. They've tried looking just about everywhere that makes sense, and they still haven't found a trace. But that's when the police chief walks in with something to say. He says he knows where Hank's hiding thanks to an anonymous tip, but it turns out the chief here just got fired. So officially, he says that there's nothing he can do. But they're not about to just give up and leave Hank alone, so they decide that they're just gonna handle it themselves. Back at the clubhouse, everyone is just chilling, hanging out, having a couple drinks, enjoying the live music, and my boy Rich even gets a chance to rock out with the band.
Rich was going so crazy, my goat. Oh my gosh. Little does he know, this is his last night on Earth.
And hell yeah. But meantime, Mrs. Kirsch is back at home putting on her old clown costume. And just when everybody's having a good time, they see this whole convoy of cars pulling down the road, and an army of sticked up racists in Halloween masks get out looking for a fight. Now, before we see what happens at the clubhouse, we cut back to 1908, where the original Pennywise, aka Bob, was working at the carnival. After putting on a show for all the little kiddos, he met up
Nasty.
with his daughter Ingrid, the future Mrs. Kirsch, who was just trying on her new clown costume. And he decided to give her the stage name Periwinkle after her mother who passed away. But that night, while Bob was kicking it backstage, this random little kid just came strolling out of the woods.
So him and his wife were just clowns? That was their profession? I mean, I guess like that's cool that you did it with your significant other, but like that's such a random thing to just get to start doing.
And after grilling him down for a minute, he made this strange comment about how the other kids seemed drawn to him. Well, just then they heard a scream from somewhere in the forest, and the kid started acting like his family needed help. So, trying to be a good citizen and all, Bob held the kid's hand and went with him, but that was the last time that he was ever seen alive.
Damn.
All right, now come on, Bob, you gotta do better than that. I mean, I know you just wanted to help, but I'm just gonna say what we're all thinking here, cause Bob, my boy, you done up. Like, all right, maybe things were different back in 1908, but even back then, I'm pretty sure it wasn't normal to see some random little dude just chilling in the woods all by himself. And this wasn't just some ordinary kid either. I mean, this dude was weird as hell straight out the gate. Like, if Buddy's family was really in trouble, then shouldn't he have been a little bit more worried about it? But nah, he's over here acting all nonchalant while his mom's supposedly getting ripped apart or something. That just doesn't add up to me. So bottom line, there should have been no way you went out there without some kind of backup. Because like, what's a drunken clown gonna do about it anyway? Honk your horn and do a little dance? Get out of here. Well, I guess we know now where evil Pennywise.
Honestly, bro. And if he knew something was wrong and wanted to get help, I would have got a team together. I wouldn't just go out in the woods by myself. Like, and it seems like this woman is screaming. Like, I don't know, like it could be a bear. We need like 5 niggas with me. Come on.
Has got his act, but as for you, Bob, it looks like the show's over, and that's how you know you done f***ed up. Back in the present, the chief and his racist buddies bust into the clubhouse and start ordering everyone to hand over Grogan. But this turns into a huge standoff between both sides. Realizing that they would all get smoked, the chief tells his boys to back off, but just when it seems like they're actually going to leave, they start chaining the doors shut. And all of a sudden, they just start opening fire and throwing Molotovs into the building while everyone is still inside. This is when Halloran remembers these busted floorboards underneath the fridge, and after breaking through, he finds a place where they can hide. But at the same time, he sees this spirit of a Native American war chief, so he breaks his own rule about never talking to the spirits and decides to ask for help.
And he lets
ends up
them in.
finding Ronnie, Hank, and Will and getting them out of there just in time, but just when Rich and Marge are about to make it, part of the building falls down and cuts them off. Realizing that there's no way out, Rich finds this little mini fridge and says that they need to get inside, but there's only enough room for one of them. So as soon as Marge climbs in, he just slams it shut and jumps on the lid.
Bro.
Meanwhile, outside, the chief and his buddies all speed away, but when Ingrid's husband
Hey, Rich, like, damn, bro, like, you got a good heart, but like, was it like, you didn't have to do that though. You didn't have to do that though. Just because you had a little crush, like, oh my gosh. What's good, auntie? We're watching How to Be, Welcome to Derry.
and tries to get out of there, he realizes that his car won't start. Well, that's when Ingrid comes walking out in her Periwinkle costume, but then out of nowhere, Pennywise
I still go. I ain't gonna, she still look good. She still look good in her Pennywise costume, her Periwinkle costume.
just creeps up from behind and chops his freaking head in half with a giant cleaver. While the clown is chowing down on her husband's face, Ingrid realizes that she's been wrong this entire time, but before she can get away, Pennywise opens up his mouth and shows her the deadlights, leaving her.
Damn, bro. I don't understand how it was like, you needed to see him slice someone's head off in front of you to be like, oh, you're not my dad. When he already killed a little kid years back, and that this thought didn't come up to you. Like, she's really crazy, bro. Still cracked, but she's crazy.
Her brain completely shot. When the fire department finally does show up, it looks like everyone made it except for my boy Rich, and the others are all heartbroken when they find out what happened.
Damn.
Like, me too, man. Me too.
That was my
But
quote right
as
there.
for Hank, he managed to hide in the woods, and the good news is everyone thinks that he's dead, but now they need a plan to get him out of town. Then we got Halloran, and he says it feels like Pennywise just went back to sleep, but now he knows where to find one of the pillars. because all he has to do is follow the war chief's spirit to the place where she died. So that's exactly what they do, and sure enough, they end up finding the artifact exactly where Halloran said it would be. But instead of sticking to the original plan, they just load it onto a truck and take it back to the base. You see, this entire time, the general had a secret plan. He's not trying to use Pennywise against other countries, he's trying to set it loose right here in the USA, because he thinks that he can use it to control people. Well, Hanlon obviously tells him that he's crazy, but he's outnumbered, and before he can stop them, this idiot actually gives the order to melt the pillar. Meanwhile, deep down in the sewers, Pennywise suddenly wakes up, and even he is low-key confused.
Like, he's
back
over
on the surface,
bro, Pennywise is over here chilling in, like, guts. Like, we see severed hands, limbs, body
suddenly
parts.
wakes up, and
someone's intestines, a baby doll head. I don't know, bro. It's not like I would expect him to have like a Tempur-Pedic bed or something.
Even he is low-key confused. Back on the surface, Will's just chilling at the crib when he gets a call from Ronnie, but the more that she starts talking, he realizes that this is not Ronnie at all, and all of a sudden he turns around to see Pennywise just posted up on top of the fridge. And he ends up hitting Will with the deadlights before he can get away. So now that there's nothing holding them back, this freezing cold fog starts covering the entire town, and everyone just heads straight over to the high school. After taking out the principal, he tells all the other kids that they can head home for the day, but everyone else gets called to the auditorium for a special assembly. Once they're all inside, he starts walking the principal around like a puppet before suddenly just ripping his head off right in front of everybody. And then, after hitting his favorite little dance move and singing them a little song, he shows them all.
I gotta hit it. I'm sorry, I gotta hit it, bro. Like, it's just too. Hey, bro.
All the deadlights and starts leading them out of town.
I will pull up to a Pennywise.
Okay, guys, this is not good. You know, this dude Pennywise was about to be asleep for another 27 years until this dumbass general had to go and wake him up. And now that they burned the pillar, he could just stroll right out of Derry and pretty much go wherever he wants. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that we've actually got a problem. But I think I already have a plan figured out. The first problem we've got is that Pennywise has Will and all these other students trapped in the deadlights. But in case you don't know what those are, the deadlights are basically just Pennywise's true form, and if somebody looks directly into them, they end up with their brains all scrambled until somebody brings them back. The good news is that there's actually an easy solution for this. All you gotta do is distract or injure Pennywise to break his focus, and it sets them all free. But there's a problem, because Pennywise is on the move, and if he gets outside of the borders of Derry, that's pretty much a wrap. But don't worry, because I've got a plan to wrangle him in. Now,
that would be such a cool plot, but like, that would pretty much just lead to the end of the world. If Pennywise actually left Derry, then he could just torment the whole world all at once. And since he is a multi-dimensional being, he will be tormenting everyone, everywhere, all at once, at the same time. Oh my God. King Von versus Pennywise. High key, I'm taking King Von. King Von could slime out Pennywise, if you really think about it. Because if you really think about it, King Von wasn't scared of no one.
If you remember, in part 2, the gang learns about an ancient Native American ritual called the Ritual of Chud, which can pretty much be used to summon Pennywise and possibly even contain him. The way that it works is that everyone brings a personal item that's connected to their biggest fear, and then they throw them all into a little container, set it on fire, and say the magic words, and boom, Pennywise has to show up. Well, Mike learned this from the same tribe that Rose and Danielle are part of, so logically it would only make sense for them to know the ritual as well. And that's how my plan starts coming together, because instead of chasing after Pennywise and trying to beat him to the outskirts of town, I would simply use the ritual to make him come to us. So first, Lily and the girls need to team up with Major Hanlon and the others and give them back the dagger, since let's be honest, they're more qualified to use it. Then the kids can hang tight at the Major's place with Charlotte and Rose to look after them, while Hanlon, Daniel, and the other volunteers book it straight back to Pennywise's lair. Now once they get there, they can perform the ritual and summon Pennywise straight back to the sewers. Then they can use the dagger and some good old mean words to bully him until he's completely powerless. And then,
you fat, stink, and you ugly monkey.
After that, all they gotta do is rip his heart out and call it a day. See? No f***ing problem. The good news is the girls skipped school that day, but while they're cleaning up the hideout, they see all these missing person posters appear on the wall, so they rush over to the school to see if it's true. Well, by the time that they get there, the only thing left is the principal's headless body.
Nasty.
So yeah, it looks like it's true. And that's when they realize that Pennywise has Will. So they hop in this conveniently placed milk truck and decide to follow the blood. Over at the Major's place, they're also looking for a way to save Will, but it gets worse, because Rose says that if Pennywise gets past this particular tree on the river, then they'll never be able to trap him again. So they decide that they're just going to use Halloran's powers to help them track down the dagger. After drinking a special tea to help him lock in, he sees Marge and the other girls hauling it after Pennywise. But they hit a pothole and crash the whip, and in the process, Lily drops the dagger. She starts acting all hostile when anyone else gets near it on some Frodo type stuff, but after a big fight, they're able to make Lily see that it's controlling her, and they decide that
punch her in her face and tell her to lock in, bro. Lily's pissing me off.
They're all gonna take turns holding it instead. That's when the thing starts glowing orange, and looking over, they see Pennywise leading the other kids across the river, so they go running up behind the wagon to see Will at the front of the group. But then it comes to a stop, and that's when old Pennywise comes out to confront them. Just then, Ronnie holds up the dagger and forces Pennywise back, but he just starts running all around them like a cartoon character until he suddenly grabs Marge and drags her away. Taking out another missing poster, he reveals that Marge here is actually Richie Tozier's mom. You know, Richie from the first movie, and Pennywise knows that Richie is part of the squad that eventually packs him up. So now he wants to take out Marge first so that Richie is never born. But just as he's about to do it, Pennywise suddenly freezes in his tracks. And this gives Marge a chance to run.
Oh, he's so nasty. What is that? I don't know if I'll be scared or just more disgusted. Like, ew. Well, we gotta do like a whole, I don't know, bro. We gotta something like Dr. Miami or something. Get him like facial reconstruction surgery or something, because this is not it, bro. Whatever. Go to the same doctor Kim Kardashian went to. We gotta fix this up ASAP. Not Morgan. Yeah, he hasn't been checking his cortisol levels, honestly. Yeah, he has to do like hammer smashing or something. Like he's really a chud. You can't really be scared of a chud, honestly. Like you're just fat and ugly and broke.
Away. At the same time, all the kids wake up from the spell because it turns out that Halloran used his powers to get inside the clown's mind. But
this nigga is a multi-dimensional being and he spends his time chasing children. Like, you're a loser. You can't be scared of a loser. All you can do is point and laugh. You're nothing, buddy.
As Hanlon and Tanyell are running to bury the dagger, the military shows up and blasts Tanyell straight in the neck. Hanlon's too injured to keep going, so he passes the rock to Will and tells him to finish the job. They're able to sneak around without getting caught, but the thing starts resisting them the closer they get, so they all have to work together to keep going. But that's when the soldiers get to Halloran, and as soon as Pennywise is free again, he just bites the general's face off and starts going for the tree instead. But just as he's closing in, Hanlon grabs a rifle and just frickin' blasts Pennywise straight in the dome, and it stops him for a minute, but he just starts growing new heads until the major runs out of ammo. And after hitting him with the deadlights, Pennywise keeps crawling towards the tree. The kids make it there first, but they can't do it on their own, and that's when Halloran sees Rich's spirit running to join the fight. With Rich's help, they're able to push the dagger in just as Pennywise turns into this giant demonic bat creature and almost lands right on top of them. But he's hit with this huge blast of orange light, and it sends him back to his slumber for another 27 years. Well, now that the battle is over, it's time for everything to wrap up nicely. And at Rich's funeral, Halloran lets his parents know that Rich's spirit will always be around, and before going their separate ways, Will and Ronnie finally have their first kiss. But after thinking it over, the Hanlons decide that they're gonna stay in Derry after all. So Will promises to keep writing to Ronnie, that way she'll never forget him. And then we've got Mrs. Kirsch, who ends up back at the hospital, as a patient this time. But one day in 1988, she hears
the way they ended this was so good. I forgot about this. It was the perfect way to wrap up this show, because I guess it's kind of nostalgia bait, but it's like, anytime you tie something back into itself, it kind of already makes it a 10 out of 10 for me. That's why I like Talk to Me. The way Talk to Me ended, perfect ending.
Motion coming from one of the other rooms, and walks in to see none other than our girl Beverly Marsh on the day that her mother passed away. So in the end, it looks like the cycle is about to start again, but the true winners here were the Grogans, because at least they were smart enough to get the hell out of this town.
Right.
Welcome to Derry Season 1.
Welcome to Derry Season 1. If you guys do want to watch my reaction, the full first season is on my YouTube, but the uncut reactions to the full season is on my Patreon. So make sure you check that out. If you guys do want to pull up to the live streams, you know where that's at. Scan QR code, link description, all that stuff. I'm gonna see y'all. Let me know in the comments below if you think you could defeat Pennywise. I think I can. He's a loser. You can't be scared of a loser. My Patreon may be better than Netflix, but do not become a member because I have to give away a Tesla, gaming setups, and a ton of other things. So whatever you do, do not scan this QR code on screen. Please don't do it.